Hi, it's Monday, I think it's the 8th of July, and I have to do some shopping around here, so I thought I'd take a walk and make a video at the same time. I'm standing by Folly Bridge. That's the entrance to the head of the river pub, and I'm going to go down the Abingdon Road and then round over Donnington Bridge and back via Italy Road and Cowley and see how things have changed since the last time I did that, which I think was about a month and a half ago. The weather forecast said it would be dry up to the early evening, but somehow they've got it wrong and it started raining, so I'm not sure how far I'll continue this, but let's see. I remarked in an earlier video that at least when the lighting is like this, I don't have to worry about sudden changes in exposure, which the camera doesn't cope with terribly well. So that's the Thames going south out of Oxford. That's one of the river steamers. And I'd be surprised if there's much rowing on the river today, partly because people will be at work and partly because of the weather. On the other hand, rowers are hardy beasts, so the weather probably doesn't bother them. They call themselves salters steamers, but I don't know whether that sort of boat is still actually driven by steam. I'd have thought there were better ways. I don't know whether electric boats are being taken up with as much enthusiasm as electric cars. But somebody in the Greens ought to be looking into this. Nothing appears to have been done with this since I was last here, and it's still thoroughly unsafe because I've got a bus coming up behind me. That bus. Holyrood Roman Catholic Church. And that's the first change. I thought I'd heard that this pub had closed. The White House, which has been there under various ownerships for quite a time. I think it was originally a Morals pub. And that changed when they closed the brewery. That's a local storage company, Storage on Site, who for some reason have decided to advertise on the pub's fencing. Another thing that has changed is that we're past Midsummer's Day. I just uploaded a video for the Wolvercote Summer Festival Dog Show, which took place on the day after Midsummer's Day, June the 22nd. Took me a bit of time to prepare it because I had some technical stuff to sort out. Concerned with turning stills into an animated video. But anyway, that was an unpleasant reminder that summer is fast disappearing. I always think that by August the 15th, you know that summer is on its way out. That's the first day that you notice the approaching darkness at night. It's noticeably dark by 8:15 then, and then it accelerates thereafter. But I always think of that August the 15th as the change. I think it's also All Saints' Day, Panagiotis in Greece, but I may be wrong about that. That is a useful independent shop. I've used it quite a bit, but I don't like the way they run it. They fence in the queue so that you have to stand between barriers very close to the person in front of you. And with COVID still around, that is a particularly nasty way to behave, making it harder for people to get out of the way of infection. You have to wonder about the shopkeeper.
Yeah, but I mean, they allowed instruments.
There's somebody wearing a rowing t-shirt. 2023 Junior Sculling. Edith Road. I've never got around to looking up who Edith was, or even whether it's a surname or a Christian name. That's Hinksey Park, or is it South Hinksey Park? And I can walk through there and then over the lake and the railway bridge to South Hinksey, which I've done in at least one video, and that's one of my favourite walks. And in one of the videos where I came the other way, down over the railway bridge from Chilswell and over the lake and through the park, in that video I pointed out that there weren't many places to have refreshments, but that there was a Portuguese cafe called Aqui nearby, which did nice coffee, and was a place that I often went to. And then at the end of the video I did indeed go to it, and I discovered the staff carrying ducting out of the shop, and that everywhere was boarded up. After, I believe, 14 years, the cafe and the Portuguese shop, which sold a number of Portuguese brands such as Compal and Gallo, the shop had closed. And so had the Aqui Port pub next to them, which was run by the same people and sold Portuguese food on the premises. So three facets of a Portuguese cuisine: the shop, the cafe, and the pub with Portuguese food were there, and now they've all gone. I'm wondering what's there instead. The answer would seem to be not very much. That's the pub on the left, which is still to let. And that's the shop and the cafe. And that's the pub that used to sell Portuguese food. It was called the Aqui Port. It seems to have reverted now to an earlier name, the Berkshire. I saw, I think it was an Oxford Mail article saying that the owners had closed after 14 years because the council had closed 2 parking spaces in front of the cafe, and this had affected their business so badly that they didn't think they could continue. It's very disappointing in an era of climate change that they couldn't find a better way of handling that. And I'm surprised that only 2 parking places would make so much difference anyway. Well, I'm now about 2/3 of the way down the Abingdon Road, I suppose. And it's dark, gloomy, but only very lightly spitting. So I'm okay for weather so far. I'm going to stop and restart just in case that resets the exposure. No, it looks about the same as before. Duke of Monmouth pub still going strong. I haven't been here for ages, but I'm told that they do very good lunches, so if anybody's in the area, try it. Maybe one can even get a coffee here. For anybody out of the country who didn't hear the news, they won by a lot. I've talked about fish and chip shops before, and that's maybe one of the last 2 or 3 left in Oxford. Many of the others, including one in Walton Street that was there for ages, have closed or turned into Chinese takeaways or whatever. Nowadays there seem to be an increasing number of ramen noodle bars. Maybe some of the fish and chip shops have turned into those, but by its nature those foods are very carbohydrate heavy. Give me a nice hunk of fish. A very nice display. That's the boundary of an allotment. It's nice to see the flowers, but it's another reminder that summer is going. The mallows and the other things. Well, that was Abingdon Road, and now I'm going to go onto a road that was changed forever and changed Oxford forever in 1962. Donnington Bridge Road. The bridge was opened in 1962. It's a bridge over the Thames, or that part of it which is called the Isis in Oxford. And it was proposed, I think, in the early 50s. Took almost 10 years to get it built and ready. And before the bridge, you had to cross the Thames by ferry. And unlike some other roads, this one doesn't remind us of that by having the word ferry in its name, whereas, say, Ferry Hinksey Road does. I suppose you can think of it as a sort of southern counterpart to the bridge by Old Marston, which carries the Marston Ferry Road. And there used to be a ferry there, and I think the mooring posts or hitching posts are still by the side of the river. Let's see if there are any books. Okay, I'm going to turn off recording for a bit. I look at books like that because they sometimes have interesting illustrations, and I can learn something about style and drawing technique. I didn't find any that interested me for that reason today, but there were 3 books of Terry Pratchett stories, and the guy is so funny that it's worth my taking those back and having a flip through, even if they were intended for children.
Yeah, you can get the books. Knock on the door.
Okay. I'll go down here.
Right, Donnington Bridge. At this end of Donnington Bridge Road, the road is called Weir's Lane. And there's a little path through there, which in fact, if I can actually get through the bloody traffic, I will try following. I do know where it goes. So this is me going down Weir's Lane and a footpath by Weir's Lane. So I'm walking at a slant to the 1962 Donnington Bridge. This obviously is a much smaller affair. There's Donnington Bridge. And there's, from this angle, there is a lot of river. This is a weir, or one of the weirs. Going to be very careful not to drop the gimbal. That's another weir. That again is looking to Donnington Bridge. There's a cars crossing it. Narrow boats. Some few lucky people have the other side of this bordering their back gardens, as you can see. Stand and appreciate it for a bit. Very nice. This land is marked off as a nature reserve, and I can go in several directions across it. Okay, I don't think I can cross that with these shoes. I'm going to therefore take the exit back onto Donnington Bridge Road. Well, I just managed that one, so this is the direction I was going in. Water and streams and rivers really are the curse of Oxford. Right. You wouldn't believe it, but they've attached a combination lock to the gate. And there's a notice saying please lock the gate, but I can't see anything that tells me what the combination is. I've never come across this before. Right, okay. So, I must say the gimbal coped with getting over the gate very well. So now I'm back on Donnington Bridge Road, on the other side of it. And I just did a little loop around Wears Lane and over various bits of the Thames. If I'd gone up in that direction, there was a path across the field pointing diagonally that way, I would have ended up in Iffley. I don't know how visible it is, but I can just about see the church. Note to myself, only need a brief glimpse of the church, cut to the rest. Okay, what was I saying? Yes, I can just about see the church, and that path would have taken me up to Iffley, which is a very attractive little village to walk round. Actually, I must apologise because it may be, I don't know whether all of this, including the bridge work down there, counts as Donnington Bridge, or whether they're separate. This is what I normally think of as Donnington Bridge. This is the main branch of the Thames. In my rowing video, I showed a groups of rowers starting off from somewhere down there. If I were to walk along the path, then I'd get to Iffley Lock and Iffley Village. That's the path that goes sort of north, back past the university and college boathouses and to Folly Bridge. And this is the big Donnington Bridge that crosses the Thames. As I say, the smaller bridge, as I pointed out down there, I'm not sure now whether that's part of the same bridge, was built at the same time, etc. I'll have to check that on a map. And also, I'm going to end the video now. This wasn't intended, but it's drizzling. The rain's very penetrating, and I don't want to get water into my phone or the gimbal. So I'm going to turn off rather hastily. So this is me on Donnington Bridge and Donnington Bridge Road. See you next time.